The desert sun burned like fire as Captain Elias Walker rode across the dusty plains, his horse kicking up clouds of sand behind him. He had seen countless battles in his life, and yet today felt different. Something tugged at him, a feeling he could not explain. The wind howled across the barren land as if warning him that the decision he made today would change his life forever. Elias had been paid by the territorial government to guard a young Apache prisoner. Rumors called her savage, dangerous, unpredictable. They said she was the last surviving daughter of a powerful Apache chief, captured after a brutal raid. Elias had accepted the job only because he needed the money to help his injured brother back home. But deep inside, he hated the idea of guarding someone who had been labeled a monster without ever being heard. When he reached the wooden outpost, the guards whispered about her with fear in their voices. She killed 3 men with her bare hands, one claimed. She speaks curses, said another. Elias didn't believe rumors. He believed in eyes. People's eyes told the truth. He pushed open the cell door, prepared to face a savage warrior. Instead, he saw a girl, barely 20, sitting silently on the floor, ropes cutting deep into her wrists, her long dark hair covering half her face. She wasn't wild. She wasn't violent. She looked exhausted, starved, and wounded. And yet, there was fire in her eyes. Not hatred, not rage, but strength. A strength that refused to die. Her name was Nayeli. Elias felt something twist inside him. This girl wasn't a savage. She was someone who had lost everything. He placed food near her. She didn't touch it. She didn't speak. She simply looked at him with the eyes of someone who had learned not to trust anyone. For days, Elias watched her. The more he saw, the more he questioned the truth. She never attacked. She never complained. She simply stared at the sky through the tiny window, as though she belonged out there, not in a cage. One night, a storm hit the desert. Thunder cracked like gunfire. Rain hammered the roofs. Elias found Nayeli shivering, drenched, her ropes soaked and cutting deeper into her skin. He made a choice. He loosened her ropes. She flinched away from him, breathing hard, terrified. But when she realized he wasn't going to hurt her, she allowed it. Elias saw bruises on her arms. Old ones, deep ones, signs of beatings she had endured long before she reached this outpost. That night, she whispered her first words to him. "They killed my family. I didn't kill anyone." It was then Elias learned the truth. Nayeli had witnessed soldiers attack her village. Her people were defending themselves. She was taken, not as a prisoner, but as a trophy. The story about her being savage was a lie created to justify their own violence. Elias felt shame burn in his chest. He had accepted money to guard innocence. But the real danger wasn't her, it was the men who wanted her silenced. One morning, higher officers arrived unexpectedly with rifles strapped to their backs. They demanded Nayeli be handed over for execution. They didn't want her story spreading. She was worth more dead than alive to them. Elias stood in front of her cell and refused. "You were paid to guard her, not protect her," the officer growled. "I was paid to guard a prisoner," Elias said firmly. "Not kill someone who did nothing wrong." But the officers didn't care. That night, Elias made the hardest decision of his life. He saddled 2 horses, unlocked her cell, and whispered, "I'm getting you out of here." Nayeli hesitated, confused. "Why? You owe me nothing. I owe the world one less injustice," he said. "Run while you still can." They escaped into the deep desert under the cover of darkness. Gunshots echoed behind them. The officers had discovered their escape. The desert became a battlefield of survival. They rode through scorching days, freezing nights, and dangerous terrain. Nayeli guided him through paths only her people knew. She warned him of snakes hidden beneath the sand, of cliffs disguised by shadows. She saved him more than once. In those days together, Elias learned her language, her pain, and her extraordinary courage. But the officers were relentless. They hunted them for days. At one point, Nayeli collapsed from exhaustion. Elias lifted her onto his horse, refusing to leave her. "I didn't free you to watch you die," he whispered. Finally, they reached the Apache lands, rugged mountains where her people once lived. But there were no warriors left. Only graves. Nayeli broke down, falling to her knees in silence. Elias knelt beside her, not saying a word, because some griefs were too big for words. Then he promised her something. You will not face this world alone. Not again. She looked at him, eyes full of both sorrow and hope. A hope she never thought she would feel again. But the officers found them even here. A final confrontation erupted in the canyon. Elias fought fiercely to protect her, and Nayeli fought beside him with the strength of her ancestors. Together, they drove the soldiers away, leaving the canyon echoing with the cries of victory. When it was over, Nayeli looked at Elias and said, "You freed me. Now let me choose my own path. And if that path leads away from here?" Elias asked gently. She smiled softly. "Then walk beside me." They left the canyon together, ready to rebuild a life neither of them expected, a life forged from pain, courage, and freedom. Message of the story: freedom is worth more than money. Courage begins the moment you stand against injustice. And sometimes, the people the world calls dangerous are the ones who carry the most beautiful strength.